G'day to everyone. Well, it's a cold, frosty, early winter's morning here today, and I've come back to the farm to do some more detecting. I've had my Equinox now for a couple of months, and my CTX has just been gathering dust in the corner. So I felt a bit sorry for it. I've dusted it off, put the big coil on, and I'll give that a go for a couple of hours this morning and then go back to the Equinox later on. With the CTX, I'm just going to wander around this area, as I haven't detected around here before. Who knows, there could have been another old building around here somewhere that I haven't discovered yet. And from a fairly deep hole, here's today's first find, a musket ball. And I was getting a bit of modern rubbish around here too. Here's a screw cap with a bottle still attached. Not really sure what this is. Possibly part of a lock. I don't really know. And from the bottom of this hole, just a bit of folded brass or copper. And yes, here's another musket ball. And from near some trees, this looks like today's first coin. Yeah, Australian threepence by the looks of it. And about 2 feet away from that, here's another one. It's too dirty and corroded. I can't really tell if it's Australian or not. I suppose I'll find out when I get it cleaned up. The frost is gone and the sun is out. Another day in paradise. Anyhow, the CTX is back in the ute and I've brought the Equinox out. And I can tell you the lightweight of the Equinox is much appreciated after wielding the CTX with the big coil on for a couple of hours. And this looks like it might be today's first button. And from near a tree, here's, oh, it looks like a halfpenny. I'd say it was probably an Australian one. Very corroded and dirty, so I can't really tell. And more buttons. I ended up finding quite a few buttons just around this tree. Now this gave a good signal with numbers in the 20s. So I was expecting a coin, but no, it possibly is a button, or it could be a badge, I'm not really sure. Looks silverish in colour. Not really sure about that one. I've just dug this up and yeah, it looks like a cufflink. Just spotted a group of lovely colourful rosellas over there in the grass. Looks like a mixture of eastern rosellas and crimson rosellas. I don't think you'd find any more colourful birds anywhere. They're a bit harder to see when they're up in the trees. Okay, I've just had some lunch and I'm back out into it again. I've moved to an area that I thought I'd covered pretty well with my E-Track years ago. But I've just dug a signal here and it's looks like one of those snake buckles. Just got a fantastic signal and look at the numbers, 30-ish. So I'm hoping for something good here. Ah, a big copper coin. Could be a penny, is it? Oh, I don't know. Might even be a token. I hope it is. I like finding those old tokens. I reckon it could be. Oh, well, let's put the icing on the cake. Really great. Now that's made my day. Here's another good signal nearby. And it's a little silver coin. Is it a threepence? No, I reckon it might even be one of those fourpences. I haven't found one of them for years. Very nice. There seems to be a lot of old animal bones in the ground here. I don't know if that's from the old days or if it's more recent or what. And another good signal nearby, and out came this old pressed metal belt buckle. These are really good to find as well. Unfortunately, it looks like the centrepiece is missing on this one, but there seems to be a bit of writing on the back of it, so that'll be interesting to read and find out more about it. Just in the area where I'm detecting here, I'm getting lots of signals in the 9 to 12 range on the Equinox, and I dug a lot of them and they ended up just being tiny bits of lead or buttons. So just to make the most of the time I've got here this afternoon, I decided not to dig them and just go for the higher number targets. So with that mindset, I did come across a number 10 signal, and for some reason, and I still don't know why, I said to myself, I'm going to dig that one, and I reckon it must have been divine intervention, because look what I've just found. It's a nice little crucifix. That's a nice little artifact to find. Yeah, I like that. Very nice. And a bit later on, from a fairly deep hole, here's a little green coin. I reckon that's probably halfpenny, possibly Georgian, I reckon. It's pretty worn. I don't know if I'll get much detail off that at all. And out of this hole, here's a squash thimble. I don't know if you can see this very well, but there's some of that gossamer thread just hanging off of me and gently blowing in the breeze, what there is of it. And down here is some serious rusty iron. It's a big old axe head. I think that can stay where it is. Anyhow, I ran out of good targets in that area and I moved to another area just to finish off the day. And here's a giant button I've just detected. Must be off a coat or something, I guess. And here's a brace buckle too. I always find one of these at least when I come back here to detect. And the last find for the day. Another one of those giant buttons. Oh well, that's about all for now. I better start heading for home, I guess. Okay, might take a closer look at today's best finds. Here's all the buttons I found today, including the two huge ones. They came in at anywhere between 9 and 16 on the Equinox. And the snake buckle's got some nice detail on it. Still not really sure about this one, whether it was a button or a badge. There's a bit of a design on it, but I really can't make out what it is. So it's a bit of a mystery, this one. I cleaned up this old pressed metal belt buckle and I noticed it had Campbell written on it. It's just so unfortunate that the centre part is missing. So hopefully I might be able to find that another time I'm back there detecting. On the back is written Campbell clasp registered September the 1st 1858 and the British registration diamond underneath that. I googled Campbell clasp and I couldn't find any information, so I don't really know anything more about it. Here's a close-up of the Crucifix. I reckon it's one of today's best finds actually, and the back is just covered in small stars. And onto the coins. 3 Australian coins for today: 1943 and 1925 threepence and 1917 halfpenny, all in not very good condition. Now the English coins. This halfpenny was very well worn. I can just make out Britannia on that side if you look hard enough, and I can just make out the date, which is 1806, and just see the head of George III, but it's in pretty poor condition. And here's the fourpence, which is dated 1836, and William IV on the other side. It's not in very good condition, but it looks much better now than what it was when I found it, as it was really blackened and stained. This token comes from Ann Smith and Co, family grocers of Melbourne, and on the other side is Britannia seated. These were Australia's first tokens, although they were made in the UK, and they dated from 1849 to 1851. I like finding these early tokens, as they've all got a story to tell about Australia's early history. And here's some other miscellaneous finds from today. A couple of musket balls, a thimble, a cuff link, some lock parts and a brace buckle. Well, I've had a really good day today. The weather was absolutely perfect and I've made some great finds too. So that's about all for now. Thanks for watching, and until next time, I'll say goodbye.